Does marketing feel harder right now? Well, it's not the tools, it's not AI, it is your audience. They are more skeptical, more financially stretched, and far less willing to take things at face value. Three shifts are driving that. One, trust is broken right at the starting line. Edelman's trust barometer shows this so clearly. People do not begin from belief, they are now starting from doubt. So that means your job has changed. You're no longer reinforcing trust. You're actually earning your way out of skepticism. Every claim has to prove itself. If you're not clear, you are not trusted. Second, financial pressure is reshaping decisions and reshaping how we buy. David Coletto calls it precarity. People feel constrained and uncertain, and it's showing up in how they spend. Big purchase decisions, home, auto, are getting delayed, but spending actually hasn't disappeared. It's just shifted to smaller, more justifiable purchases, things that feel controlled and immediate and often framed as self-care. This demand isn't gone, it's just cautious. So this leads to three. It has to be obvious. The value has to be obvious. People are going to spend, but they need to understand what the value equation is clearly and quickly. So if they don't understand that, they're going to move on. This is the current environment. Less trust, less financial flexibility, and way more scrutiny. So what do you do about it? At Jan Kelley, there are three things that we're doing to future-proof our clients' business. One, building clear brand systems. Clarity does the heavy lifting now. People need to understand who you are and why you matter without effort. Consistency becomes your proof. If your brand shifts or blurs, trust drops. Two, staying connected to what's happening right now. What does this mean? Static insights no longer cut it. Behavior is changing and moving in real time. So always on intelligence is what's going to keep you grounded in what people are actually feeling and doing, not what they said months ago. Three, moving at the speed of the market. Your content and creative have to keep up. That means being able to respond, adapt, and scale without losing direction. The brands that navigate this best are not the loudest. They are the clearest. Because when things feel uncertain, people don't look for more options. They look for something that feels clear enough to choose. Here is my question for you. Is your brand a risk reducer? People don't want to think harder right now. They want to feel safe choosing. Strong brands become a shortcut, a risk reducer. Brands with high equity and trust maintain better pricing, retain customer loyalty, and recover faster after a downturn. Most brands sound the same: bold, customer centric. None of this helps someone choose you. Most leadership teams think they have a clear brand, but what they actually have is a set of words that everyone interprets differently. A brand system must move beyond adjectives. It's a set of definitive decisions that defines who you are, who you're for, why you're chosen, and how you show up differently in the market. Landing it really is what makes it operational. So to achieve this, you have to define the truths that you're willing to speak and also what to avoid. This requires digging into the decisions and leaning into the discomfort of choosing sides, because specificity requires resonance. You need to answer tough questions like which customers get priority and which don't. What point of view are you willing to take a stand on? And where do you land on important spectrums? Reliability versus innovation. So if your team cannot answer the same question the same way, your customer cannot either. A clear brand system is step one. But to stay aligned with reality, you also need to know what's changing outside. Which brings us to the non-negotiable number two, moving to an always-on insight system. We've been talking about the three ways that we are future-proofing our clients' business in a time of such dramatic change. If your strategy is based on last year's insights, you are not just behind. You're actually operating blind in a market that's defined by speed and consumer distrust. The cost isn't just missed opportunity, it's accelerated competitive risk. This is the shift. So insight isn't a phase anymore. It's actually a live input. We're moving our clients to an always on intelligence and insight system because the true competitive edge is no longer in collecting more data, but in your velocity of strategic decision making. So, practically, what we've learned is this requires four things. One, continuous signal detection. Sales conversations, customer feedback, reviews, and social channels. This is then partnered with two, AI enabled pattern detection. You need to identify these themes quickly. And then three, layer that with human interpretation and decision linkage. AI does a great job of surfacing patterns, but the people are who decide the messaging, the positioning, and the investment. And this is really where CMOs earn their seats, by transforming these raw signals into a prescriptive marketing strategy. And four, most importantly, a clear ownership structure. A dedicated team must be responsible for synthesizing the signals, recommending action, because if insight doesn't move fast, your marketing won't either. This high-speed connection is really the engine that converts volatile marketing signals into immediate winning strategy. And the only way to really enable the non-negotiable number three, which is really about creating content in real time and creating that content at scale. Let's talk about the power of high velocity content and creative creation. This is really where brands fall apart. They know what to say, they just cannot move fast enough to say it. You cannot run a modern performance program with a quarterly creative cycle. It doesn't work anymore. You need real time content at scale. And it's not about volume, it's about relevance, constantly refreshed. The era of one off, safe, generic creative is over. If your clear brand system tells you what to say and your always on insight system tells you what the market is demanding, this third element is the engine that closes the loop. So this velocity must be applied through the entire customer journey, through full funnel creative strategy and execution. Different moments need different messages. Different channels need different messages, and those messages need to evolve weekly, not quarterly. For example, top of funnel, creative must be clear and distinct, reflect your point of view. For bottom of funnel, assets must be tactical, highly specific, and rapidly iterated based on immediate performance metrics. This high-speed connection between insights and content must flow directly into a structured creative delivery system. You cannot produce this volume of creative manually anymore. That's where AI actually matters. So the brands that win right now are not louder, they're clearer, faster, and harder to ignore.